So this is my video response for Time for School 3, Part 1. Uh, After watching that video, uh, I've come away from it with a better knowledge and understanding of foreign education. I thought it was really interesting that 189 countries had pledged that by the year 2015 they would have basic education in their countries. Um, but this video specifically followed 7 children from Afghanistan, Brazil, Japan, India, Benin, Kenya, and Romania, if I'm not forgetting any. Um, so each country had one child that they were following, and I thought that was pretty cool. So they could have kind of a global perspective. Each child had its own struggles within the countries because every country was different. Like Afghanistan, it was a little girl from Afghanistan, and she had to struggle with persecution and just harsh education uh, environment in her country. Uh, like I remember there was the little kid that lived in the favelas. It was really interesting to see how he they held him back because they didn't want him to be corrupted by the older kids. I thought that was interesting, but by doing that, they almost created a different problem where he would just lose interest in school. Uh, it was I thought it was really interesting when they talked about how the kids had to they a lot of the kids worked and then they went to school, so it was hard for them to be able to actually do well because they didn't have the time to study and really learn unless they were at school because their home lives were so busy with everything. Um, like the girl from Afghanistan, one of the problems she had was she would go to school, but then when she came home, she had all these chores she had to do, and the men don't do any of that work. They don't do it. So she had to do all of that, and on top of that, she had studying and schoolwork she had to do. So as time went on, you could tell she couldn't do schoolwork and all the chores at the same time. She just didn't have the time for it. Uh, and like a lot of these children were uh, introduced to violence and other struggles that made it harder for them to learn in their countries. Uh, it was really interesting to see, like in Japan, they didn't have that violence as an issue uh, as much as Afghanistan and living in favelas and other war zone countries. Uh, it was really interesting to be able to see their progression. They had taken film from, I think it was 2003 to 2006 and then to 2009, and you kind of got to see them grow up and kind of like how they changed and like how they had wanted to go to school and how some are still in school and how some are getting close to not even being in school and being able to go to school. Uh, I thought it was really interesting and surprising that India, I think it was in the millions that were uneducated, but now that had dropped significantly. But only they had only out of that population that had reduced significantly, only uh, those people had only gone to school for 4 years. I thought that was a little bit interesting in that they weren't learning reading, writing, or basic math. So, but they didn't go into what they were learning in school there. So I think it would probably be religious education, but at the same time, it was interesting to see that it wasn't reading or writing. Uh, Maybe even not mathematics, but so overall, I thought the video was really heart touching. You know, it was really eye opening to be able to see in the lives of these young kids that had struggles people in America have never even like had to go through. They get an education. Uh, Makes me really grateful for what I have. So I really enjoyed the video. I thought it was really educational and good video. All right.